Game day, we take you to every stadium.
Touchdown, Steelers!
Rob King, Max Starks, and Missy Matthews bring you all the excitement of Steelers football.
A strike from Rodgers, and the Steelers have taken the lead.
Only on the Pittsburgh Steelers Audio Network.
The Steelers are cooking right now.
Thursday night, the Steelers host the Green Bay Packers in preseason action. Pregame at 6, kickoff at 7 on WMBS.
Strap. Located at 34 South Street in downtown Uniontown, newly remodeled, American-inspired, where Western meets Americana. We have all your red, hot, and blue accessories, American Pride handbags, crossbody bags, and wallets, along with the new Montana West 250-year anniversary American flag braided tote bags. Myra brand is back at Strap in your favorite denim selections. Bags and boots, including the Liberty Star bootie. We have bag charms, bag chains, an abundance of star-spangled jewelry, t-shirts, flip-flops, wild rags, scarves, and twillies. Here's to the red, white, and blue. Woohoo! Strap, 34 South Street in downtown Uniontown, 724-557-6184. Open Tuesday through Friday, 11 to 5, and Saturdays, 10 to 3. Stop, browse, and shop, and let accessories bling.
In a world of big corporations and interpersonal experiences, there's something truly special about family-owned businesses. For over 70 years, the Mike Kelly Automotive family has been serving the community with integrity, honesty, and a commitment to putting families first. And we're not stopping anytime soon. Our commitment to excellent sales and service remains stronger than ever. Visit us today and experience the Mike Kelly Automotive difference. Because when you buy from us, you buy from family.
Compass, I got no direction now. I'm gonna find my way somehow. Barely on this tightrope, I'm stuck in between the here and now, and I'm trying to figure out.
And now we welcome Wendy O'Brien from the Proden, O'Brien, and Lemontowski Law Firm, and of course Josh Kryzak from WMBS. And this is a couple of things with Wendy and Josh, guys.
Hi, TJ. Hi, Wendy.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. I missed you last month.
I missed you too. It was not right. We have fun every month, and I look forward to it every month. And TJ knocking the new name out of the park.
Good job. Thank you very much, TJ.
Yeah, Proden O'Brien and Sean Lemontowski.
Yeah,
that's
we
fantastic.
Added them on. I think we announced that.
We
did.
Ago,
so,
but just getting it into the official, we're restarting everything.
Yeah.
We're going to update the logo and stuff too. So, congratulations again to Sean and obviously to your whole crew down there.
Well earned, yeah.
Yeah. So, a couple of things with Wendy and Josh. We talk about all things the law.
Yeah, some legal issues.
Yeah, and we just kind of chit-chat back and forth, go over stuff that are interest to you, potentially things that you could be facing. We don't offer specific legal advice.
Right.
We recommend that you talk to an attorney if you need an attorney. And if they need an attorney, one of the attorneys that they can go with are you guys.
Yes, absolutely. Give us a call. We're 2 buildings before the courthouse in Main Street, Uniontown. We handle all types of matters. There's 3 of us there, the 3 partners. Give us a call, 724-437-3484. We'd love to, talk to you, chat with you, and see what's going on with your legal issues.
Absolutely. And if you want to have a down-to-earth conversation with Wendy or her team, that's what I recommend, because she'll talk to you like you're a regular person that has a regular issue that she's going to help you solve. And if those folks out there who aren't attorneys know what I'm talking about, sometimes you feel like you're being talked down to a little bit.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
No, we don't do that.
Yeah, which is awesome. Well, today I'm excited. So Wendy reached out. She always has a lot of good ideas. She always puts together a beautiful itinerary for us. But you came up with this idea, and it's fantastic because these are all the things that people were talking about.
Yeah, these are some hot topics. So let's say, what do all these things have in common, Josh? Chickens, Airbnbs, solar panels
Oh boy. Okay.
and data centers. Let's go.
I'm going to say property.
Yeah.
Property,
Bingo,
yeah.
bingo. You didn't win the $1 million
No.
Powerball, but
I know.
$1 million Powerball.
Did
but-
you? Well, and this is so off topic, but this is what we always do. But I have to
we
say
get
it.
off topic.
I read the article that said if they take the cash payout and
Yeah.
then after taxes they only get like 270 million.
Yeah.
Of
Darn.
a billion.
Yeah, I know.
But
That's
still, it's still. I mean, 270, you're done for. You're
I'll
good.
take it.
Heck yeah, but it's still kind of crazy.
Yeah,
It's
it is
27%.
crazy.
So
Yeah, it's a lot.
yeah. But anyway,
All right, yeah, we're going to talk about zoning and your property. And these are some really hot issues, relevant and very current here in Fayette County for
Mm-hmm.
sure. I do serve as the solicitor of the Fayette County Zoning Hearing Board.
okay.
So we see a lot of these issues come through. And I know that we're going to be seeing a lot of these data centers coming up.
Yeah,
So I thought it would be fun to
I agree.
talk about these things.
I
a
agree.
little
So
bit.
yeah, I agree 100%. And the very first thing that you write at the very top of our first segment is exactly what
Yeah.
I hear from 95% of people easily.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, even myself.
Yeah.
It's my property.
Yep.
So why do I have to ask, or why do I have to go through
Right.
any hoops?
How can the government tell me what to do with my property?
Right.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Especially people that live, in a more rural setting as opposed to the people that live in the city.
Right.
Up against their neighbors, but even out in the rural, areas, there are zoning ordinances that
Yeah.
the government tells you what you can and cannot do with your property.
Yeah.
So that's the idea is, that the government needs to be able to regulate that to an extent.
And think about it. It makes sense
Yeah.
because if they didn't, and then you saw something your neighbor is doing that was completely
Yeah.
ridiculous, you'd have no recourse.
Right. Yeah. And this is a lot of times where neighbor battles, start out is what is my neighbor doing with their property,
Right.
and how can I, put an end to that? Because a lot often it is a nuisance, and
Right.
it can be a nuisance, and everybody wants to be able to enjoy their own property. But your property is inside a community. We all live within a city.
Yes.
And, if we can have some kind of united governing law
Right.
on how we're going to handle that, it's a lot better for everybody.
I agree.
Yeah.
And today, the examples we're going to talk about, as you said, are chickens, Airbnb and short-term rentals,
Yep.
solar panels, and data centers. All those things, as we noted, are all hot button
Yeah.
in the news kind of stuff.
truly are.
Chickens, maybe not quite as much right at the moment, but I've still heard a lot about them, and people are doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have 2 cases right now in the Court of Common Pleas before the judge on appeals for chicken cases, basically, in a residential area. And we do get a lot of complaints.
Yeah.
People call in, is my neighbor allowed to have this rooster? Is my neighbor allowed to have these chickens? They're running all over the place. They get out, the coyotes are coming in because they're
Yeah.
coming to kill the chickens.
Yeah.
And that's a hot button question that's going on right now.
Yeah. So let me ask you, do you think that there are people out there that are, I would say, well, I'm interested in your answer. Would you think that some of these things are happening without the proper channels and consent, and it's only once they get caught that they
Oh,
are uncovered?
For sure.
Like all basically, except for the big stuff like data centers, a little different.
Yeah, that's a little
But the chickens and Airbnb, I would imagine that's probably happening at places, and until they like get caught or something happens that raises it to the level of the neighbor's notice, it's just happening.
Well, if you think about it, you're not going to spend the millions of dollars to put a data center in unless you have
the permits.
the permits
Right.
and the zoning permits and authorizations, special exceptions to
Right.
permit you to do that.
But
whereas to buy a couple chickens,
and put a little coop in the backyard.
little coop in the backyard, that costs you basically nothing. So,
And technically, I mean, if you're not caught, okay, good for you,
Yeah.
but you're still running that risk.
yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And often, some people just need to file for what's called a special exception or a variance, and then they're allowed to proceed with what they're doing.
Okay. So
But-
just like if you want to put up a fence or anything,
Mhm.
it's the same kind of process. You're just being cognizant of the fact that you're in a community and it's not just you on an island.
Yeah. Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So let's start with chickens,
Okay.
just because I think it's kind
Yeah.
of a fun topic.
Wow.
I mean, I live in the city. I've told you this before,
Mhm.
and I had a neighbor that said to me, Wendy, if you let me have chickens in my backyard, I'll let you bring your horse to your backyard. And I said, well, that's sweet. That's great. But I'm pretty sure the other neighbors across the street
Not going to be as
are
happy.
not going to be happy with that because neither one of us can have agricultural animals, essentially is what we're doing, in our little city block neighborhood. It's just not allowed.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people have that mentality. If my neighbor's doing it, it should be okay if I do it.
That's true.
And that's simply not the case. And we want to put that myth to bed. Just because your neighbor does it doesn't mean it's legal for you to be doing it.
Right.
Certainly. But yeah, people chickens are becoming more and more attractive because of the cost of eggs.
Correct.
And
healthier too.
It's healthier.
Your chickens are going to be healthier than, no offense to store bought. If you need to eat eggs there, eat them there. They're better than nothing.
Yeah.
But eggs from your own farm or from a farm are going to be healthier.
Yeah. Well, and I've seen a lot of people come into court and tell us that the chickens have actually been therapeutic for them.
No.
As emotional support animals.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
They dress them up, they name them, they carry them around, they bring them in their homes. They become an extension of the family. So at what point do these chickens become a household pet rather than, some extension of agricultural livestock poultry?
I got to say, if I saw a chicken in a top hat, I don't know. That sounds pretty cute and pretty fun.
Yeah.
I can still see it being a nuisance, though, if you are the neighbor. And I can I think that the key thing is, as you've said, there are different rules for different areas across the region.
Absolutely.
And the bottom line is, no one's telling you necessarily that you can't have chickens. You have to find out first.
Correct.
You have to go see, and then sometimes it's as simple as asking for that variance. Yeah.
And sometimes it's maybe your property isn't quite large enough for the keeping of chickens.
Okay.
But maybe you can get a variance and limit the number of chickens.
Keep a small coop
that you have on the property. And locate your coop in a location on your property where it does not cause a nuisance to your neighbors.
Yeah.
And, the dimensions of the coop, whether or not you have a rooster is a big one.
Because of the noise?
The noise. They definitely increase the noise levels and become more and more of a nuisance.
Yeah. Wonder why do you have, I don't know. Maybe because you've dealt with it more. Do you have to have a rooster to have like a successful group of hens?
I don't know the answer to that because I'm not a farmer.
Yeah.
I would never.
Yeah. No, I just was curious.
But we should ask Kaylee that.
Yeah, we will. I'll ask Kaylee, the intern, why people have the rooster there.
Yeah. But I haven't not seen a petition for poultry, chickens come before us that did not have a rooster. Yeah.
I wonder if it has to do with even protection for the hens.
It could be.
They lay when they feel the protection of, maybe the rooster's protection.
Yeah. There's always one. It's only one, but one rooster and then the chickens.
Yeah. So if they are treated more as pets, does that change their variance or how they're looked at by the court?
So that's the actual issue that's before the Court of Common Pleas right now, and I was hoping to get the decision before it came in today, so I could, explain that or use that today, but we haven't gotten it yet. So essentially, that's what the petitioner's arguing is that the chickens are not livestock, as the typical term of agricultural livestock would be described, even with the inclusion of the term poultry in the definition of agricultural.
Okay.
Because about 5 or 6 years ago, the Commonwealth Court, which is an appellate court from our Court of Common Pleas, said our ordinance here in Fayette County was not descriptive enough to include the definition of chickens in the livestock agricultural animals definition that is in our current ordinance. So it was amended by our commissioners. They amended it to include poultry.
To add that in to kind of capture it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And poultry and fowl is what they put in. So the
what about like pet birds then?
Right. That's
seems
exactly
like that's a little bit too open.
The attorney's arguing is so we're excluding all birds.
People who have parrots or parakeets?
If I want to have a parrot or parakeet because it's a fowl, I can't keep it because it fits that definition.
So they may have gone too broad.
Yeah.
And it may end up
his
allowing
argument.
again, this is not official, but it could end up allowing them to keep their chickens because they're finding the loophole in the
potentially
law.
a loophole in the law.
There's no other way to really say it. So
but the zoning board has unanimously, since the ordinance has been amended, said if you live in a residential area, there is no path to keep chickens in the residentially zoned area. Until the Court of Common Pleas tells us otherwise, that's the stance on the ordinance with the zoning board.
Okay.
So
That's interesting to note. Yeah. And you said that this is something that is been steady in front of you. This is something that you guys are seeing regularly.
It is. It's very frequent. Very frequent. And it's one of the most frequently issued enforcement notices that our county issues to people that have chickens.
That just do it.
Yeah, they just do it. So in a residential area, and you have to, you can't. You're not zoned appropriately to keep these agricultural / poultry / fowl in your backyard, in your residentially zoned property.
And then obviously too, there's the other side of it. If you are a person living in that neighborhood and you're dealing with someone who has chickens that are wandering onto your property, that's when you need to make sure you're going through the proper legal channels too. You can't just do something about it.
Right. And I mean, we've heard chickens can be a true nuisance.
Yeah.
Because they do get out.
Yeah.
They do attract coyotes, rats.
Yep.
We've seen a lot of petitioners come through with these cases, and neighbors have some legitimate complaints on the keeping of chickens, especially in a small enclosed area where they are causing a nuisance. So there's a good reason for requiring the acreage and the rural area as opposed to the in-town.
It's not just being jerks and like being the boss.
Yeah.
There is specific reasons why it makes sense.
There truly is. Yeah.
Yeah,
It does make sense.
I think that's good. And as we always remind people too, not to take the law into your own hands. If you're having an issue with a neighbor about chickens, call the proper people. Get an attorney involved. Ask somebody. Don't just confront them yourself, especially if you've talked to them about it and nothing's been done.
Yeah.
So.
And I think it's important, just while we're talking about the chickens, and I said how they're emotional support pets for some of these petitioners. Even though they're emotional support animals per their therapist or counselor or doctors, they are not protected by the ADA because they are not trained in any special methods of accommodation.
Yeah.
So unless and until these chickens become trained to help you with your handicap in some form, that is going to fail in this
So
request.
just because you're mentally attached to that animal and it's helping you doesn't actually equate to an animal that has been trained to provide support.
Correct. Like a dog that would
Like a
prevent
service
you
dog.
from walking into the traffic. Or
like the guy who used to bring his baby alligator on his shirt into Walmart all the time. And then they would try to, I'm just talking. I know it happened. And they would try to make him leave. And he said it was a support animal. It was a whole thing. That I can tell you, again, my non-professional, non-attorney head, that alligator wasn't trained as a support animal. Just wasn't.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. And people try to do it on airplanes and things like that.
Right.
So.
This is my support pig or whatever.
There has to be limits, or we would live in a chaotic
it
society.
Would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
It would be a nightmare.
For sure.
So if you're just joining us, this is a couple of things with Wendy and Josh. We get together once a month. We talk about all kinds of legal issues. And today we are talking about zoning and property rights as far as some hot button issues. She's Wendy O'Brien. She's from Proden, O'Brien, and Lemontowski.
Good job.
It's a new trifecta there. We added the Lemontowski.
Yep.
But if people want to get in touch with you, Wendy, and learn more about what you guys offer and how you can help them, how can they do that?
Please give us a call. We're at 724-437-3484. We're 2 buildings before the courthouse, 99 East Main Street, Uniontown. Pop in, see us, make an appointment.
There's parking there too.
There's parking, off-street parking.
That's a big deal down there. If anybody goes in the courthouse regularly, you know that's not something that everybody has.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
No,
so
definitely not.
it's a good thing. If you're popping in, you'll be able to park and chat with them. I highly recommend it. They know what they're doing and they're going to treat you like a human being. So our next segment, this is one that I'm really excited about because I have heard a lot of people doing it.
Yeah.
People doing it without getting any of the proper channels in place. So can I rent my house on Airbnb?
Yeah, that's a big one.
So
right?
talk to me about this.
So again, you got to go back and look at your ordinance. What does your ordinance say? Does it define an Airbnb? A lot of people think that it's just being used for residential purposes, so why can't I rent it out? But you have to look at the actual use. It's not just residential. It is a commercial use once you start renting it out. So when it becomes commercial, is when you start getting into the problems.
Yeah.
And that's where our zoning ordinance will regulate you, because you're more of a hotel or a short-term residential, situation, facility, that sort of thing. So you sort of move from just being residential to that commercial, and that requires additional, things. Just as if you were going to rent it out to a tenant, you need to have your occupancy permits, your your fire hazard code requirements all met. It's not just renting.
Yeah,
your
it's
house
not
out.
simple.
Yeah, no, you're gonna need some permits.
Yeah, and if you think about it too, from the neighbor's perspective, and again, I think probably most of the folks that are listening right now would be more from the neighbor's perspective. I don't think everybody out there is trying to start an Airbnb, but if it happens beside you, you're going to be seeing different people in there all the time.
Yeah.
It becomes a safety issue for you too.
It does.
You just feel like this is my home, and now there's strangers here all the time.
Yeah.
And you don't know who they are. Neither do the people renting it, for that matter. But it just makes you feel less secure.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean it's impossible to do. My husband's parents passed away, and we were just cleaning out his house, and one of the things we talked about is, what if we just fixed it up as an Airbnb and rented it out?
Yeah.
From time to time, and it can be done. You can do it. You just got to look at the ordinance,
Proper channels,
and find out exactly what you need, what special exceptions, what variances, what permits, and do it correctly, and that protects you as much as it does your neighbors.
Yeah.
Because God forbid something happen while you have a short-term tenant in there, you could be liable for not having the proper protections in place.
Right. So, and some of those too, kind of limiting the noise or the events or what times you can be doing different things. Is there, and I'll ask you this, is from what you've seen so far, is there a requirement to let the neighbors know that it's happened? Is that part of it?
Yeah. So if you need a special exception in your particular municipality in your zoned location, your neighbors will get notification that you applied.
Find out.
Yeah, that you applied for that special exception.
Because I feel like that's part of it. They should be let in on what's going on.
Mm-hmm. And they have the opportunity to appear at the special exception hearing and listen to the testimony and ask questions. And if they do still oppose the plan, they have the opportunity to speak on it and why they oppose.
My other thought would be, as far as what if something happens when you're not there? So I'm guessing that maybe that's another thing that might get regulated, as far as who is the person who's going to respond when there is an emergency or something goes wrong at the house.
Yes, and that's typically part of your plan has to include who is in charge of your maintenance and your day-to-day business operations if you are not around.
Right.
Because that, in fact, is a huge issue. I mean, they're likely, if it's a big turnover, for example, up by Seven Springs or
even the houses in
Ohio
Ohio,
Yep. Some significant turnover there. You're going to have cleaning companies coming in. You're going to have maintenance companies coming in and out. So you are certainly going to need, to have a plan in place.
Yep.
So the municipality knows that you're following protocol.
So I have money, and I have a nice house up in Ohio. Let's just say this is true. And
we won the $1 billion.
Yeah, exactly.
Powerball.
So I am not going to be there for the summer months. I go somewhere else. I want this to be an Airbnb.
Yep.
So then what are my next steps? I know I can't just do it, and I'm not the guy who's going to just do it. So they reach out to an attorney and they start a process.
Yes, you start a process. First of all, you check your ordinance, your local ordinance, your municipality. Every municipality has a zoning ordinance, or they use the county's zoning ordinance.
Okay.
And it depends. Not all municipalities fall under the counties, but most of them do. Some have their own individual. So first, you locate your ordinance and find out if there is a specific provision for Airbnb short-term rentals. If so, is it permitted in your particularly zoned area? For example, if you're a commercially zoned property, you're probably going to be okay.
Yeah.
If you're residentially zoned, you might maybe R1s are permitted to do it, but not R2s, which has to do with the density of your particularly
so how tight
residential.
you are.
Yes. So
if you're in a moderate country, you're probably still okay.
Yeah, if you're agricultural,
if you're bumped up against other houses and front and back and side to side, you might not.
You might have some additional loops or hoops that you have to jump through.
But my guess is it can be done, though. If you want to, you can make it happen as long as you're going through the right
Yeah.
process, right steps.
Yes, 100%. Just double check that ordinance and talk to an attorney, and they can lead you through the process. Most of the time, the process is you have to file for a special exception, which is one of the petitions you can have through the zoning office. So the zoning hearing board is the one that will hold a hearing on your special exception petition. A special exception is, it's funny because it's not special or an exception.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's called special exception.
Cool.
It's actually something that's permitted under the ordinance. You're allowed to do it, but you're only allowed to do it as long as you follow the conditions set by the ordinance.
Okay.
And that would be, maybe hours of operation, the noise, you have to have fencing. They can put on a number of different conditions.
Yeah.
You have to have so many acres or
Right.
so much parking available. There's a lot of conditions that the board or the ordinance can put on your special exception. But as long as you comply with it all and you prove to the zoning hearing board that you comply with it all, it can be
done.
Yeah.
And I think that, and again, it's a legitimate way for folks to make an additional revenue stream.
Yeah.
And it also provides legitimate options for people that are staying in the region. I have used an Airbnb and trips to Outer Banks. The house is gorgeous. We happen to know the people that own the house, and that was a really nice option for us.
100%. And I've noticed the larger my family has gotten. I mean, now we travel with 6 of us. You can't fit in one hotel room.
Right.
So it makes more sense for us to
We've got a
rent
little house.
an Airbnb,
Yep.
a VRBO, and then you can cook there too.
Yeah.
And so, it's definitely worth looking into. Where I have seen this happen quite a bit is in estate work. You'll have a beneficiary that has inherited a house where maybe there's still a mortgage on the house, and they can't afford to pay that mortgage off. They don't want to sell the house. And they already have their own home, but they don't want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So what they do is they convert that house into an Airbnb, at least temporarily, till they can pay off the mortgage.
That makes good sense.
And then they have that house free and clear in their family, pass it down to your children, whatever the case may be.
So the Airbnb that I've stayed in, and I just am curious if this is similar to things that are happening here, the people that own it and live in the house live in a part of the house.
Yeah, that
The
does
rest of it
happen.
is the Airbnb.
Yeah.
It's completely separated. There is a door
Yeah.
that stays locked from their side. I felt like we were there alone, even though they were there, because they kind of set their house up that way.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that happens a lot too?
Yes, depending on the house. A lot of the we have a lot of company houses here.
So
in this
like,
area.
okay, so like duplex.
Yes. So maybe one half they live in and one half they rent out.
Okay.
So they don't get rid of it, but
Yep.
it's not vacant, and they keep it.
Right.
They keep it nice. It helps, have a revenue stream for them.
Yep.
But yes, it's particularly in our area because of the nature of our, row houses.
Oh,
and-
I've seen some. I mean, their duplexes can be really nice, especially when they've been remodeled and updated.
for sure.
So you could live on one side and live nicely, and you can have the other side all tricked out with all the latest bells and whistles.
Uh-huh.
And the people who are like, this is way better than a hotel.
I mean, I think there's guidelines. They have to have their own separate entrance, parking, metered, electricity, water, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's not hard to do. So if you're thinking about it, I definitely reach out to an attorney. Let's check your ordinance. Let's see if you qualify. Let's see if it's something. I think it's more cost effective than one might think.
I think so too, and I think the revenue stream is great.
Yeah.
Because I've watched with these friends of ours, because what will happen is they'll have a group in for 3 or 4 days, and they can't go out, and then she's a stay-at-home mom, and she goes down, she cleans up the area, gets everything all set, and the next group is coming in, and it's right at home.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to leave taking care of the kids or anything.
I know.
And it feels high-end and nice and posh and bougie when you're in there, because she can add all the attention to that singular spot.
Yeah, and it is bougie.
See,
it is fun. It's
you should do it.
something-
I want Wendy to do it.
I know, right?
Well, you're looking at it.
I kind of do have, but my adult children are living in our
I got you.
we have a detached garage with an apartment.
So something similar.
So they live in that. So until they get out on their own, maybe
see.
after that,
Then you could turn it into a
it'll
little
be turned into
vacation rental.
Yeah,
I like
right.
it. So we are talking about all kinds of zoning and property issues here on a
Yep.
couple of things with Wendy and Josh. I'm Josh Krysak. She's Wendy O'Brien from Proden O'Brien and Lemontowski. And we do this once a month.
Yep.
And these are the things we're talking about today. But Wendy, if people are listening today and they're thinking, you know what, I could turn my duplex into an Airbnb.
Yes.
How can they get in touch with you?
Give us a call, 724-437-3484. If you mention this show, we'll give you a free consultation. Come on in, and that's free for you to come in and talk to us. We'll look at the ordinance. We'll look at, your home, the requirements, and what it's going to look like for you, and if it's a path that's feasible. Why not?
Absolutely. And if you can't get her, and you can't figure it out, or you didn't write it down, send a message on Facebook.
Yep.
They're on Facebook.
We
share it on Facebook. You can send the message right there. Say, hey, I'm interested. Wendy will find you.
Google
we'll
us.
get it. Yeah.
You'll find us.
You'll
Yep.
get to her.
Yep.
Now, this next one, again, I was really interested in that, but I'm really interested in all of these.
Yeah.
Solar panels.
They're hot
They are
topics.
hot topic. So
Oh my goodness, the solar.
I know. So I'm going to start out with just the story. So a house, probably 12 houses up from where I live.
Okay.
So like a quarter mile away, because
Okay.
I'm kind of rural residential. So they have solar panels that have been installed all over their roof.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I want to know what this is all about, how they did it, whether it's feasible, what it means. Talk to me about solar panels for residential use.
Yeah, for okay, so private.
Yeah, well,
residential
let's
use.
start there, because I
Okay.
know solar farms are another thing
Oh,
entirely.
yeah.
So
big time.
Yeah.
So obviously, energy is a big issue.
Yeah.
Your electric bill is probably outrageous.
It's ridiculous.
Mine's outrageous, and every month it gets worse and
Yes.
worse. So people are looking for other renewable energy sources. And solar panels are a fabulous, clean, new energy
It's nice.
source.
Why not do
Right,
it?
renewable, right. It seems like a no-brainer. And I do believe there are some tax benefits for even installing the panels on your home.
Yeah.
But yeah, what does that mean for you? Are you allowed to just
Yeah.
do
How
that?
do you? Yeah. Can you?
No, you got to check your ordinance.
Okay.
But chances are,
Yeah.
if you're just doing it for your own home
Yeah.
and you're personal use only,
Yeah.
yes, you will be able to do it. Most locations do allow that, but again, check your
You
ordinance.
still have to check.
I would not sit here and say I know every single
Right.
ordinance, but most of the time, personal use solar panels properly installed
Yeah.
are permitted.
Yeah. So, and I'm guessing too, there has to be some benefit there, because the guy's house looks funny.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
at the same time, who cares if
Right.
you're going to end up getting free electricity out of it?
Yes.
And I think that you're right. One of the things you got to look at are the benefits. And I think that there is almost where you're basically paying nothing
Yeah.
to install them,
Yeah.
because there are people out there that would rather have you use them than not use them.
Yes.
So if you jump through the right hoops, it might be worth looking into.
Well, if you, I know just from watching these like RV shows, I love camping. We love a lot of these people install these solar panels on the roof of their RVs,
Yeah.
and for that reason, because they solely, provide the energy for their RV.
Yeah.
They don't need to plug in anywhere. They can be
Don't have to listen to the generator
yeah,
run
they
either.
can be completely out in the boondocks.
I wonder if we're going to start seeing it on
Living
food
on-
trucks.
I wouldn't be surprised. I
Because
wouldn't be
that's
surprised.
if I had a food, I love food trucks.
So do
If I had a food truck, the sound of the generator would make me crazy.
Did you see Maryland's has a food truck?
Yes, I did.
I
It was
just
at the
saw it.
Italian festival.
Yes.
It was so good.
I didn't know that. I
No,
was
I know,
really
it was
excited.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And they're out of business, but they still have a food truck.
That's-
I know. So anyway,
Sidetrack.
yeah, sidetrack. But I think that would be something that they would look at, because that noise is
Yes.
it's annoying.
It's very loud.
It can be
Yes,
really loud.
Very loud.
And you can, I had one food truck I saw that had a housing built around theirs
Mm-hmm.
to limit the noise. But I would guess if you could do it cheaply, cleanly, and not
Yeah.
make a sound, that
This
might be a
makes-
really good
makes a lot of sense.
option. All right,
Yeah.
so that brings us to solar farms.
Yeah,
So this is a big deal. And you
huge.
pass them. I mean, you see them everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me.
Well, interestingly, about 3 years ago, these started becoming a very big deal in our county. And I think a lot of these solar farm companies found Fayette County intriguing because we did not have a solar panel farm ordinance. So they were seeking us out.
Yeah.
And they were looking for property here and seeking it out to build these giant solar farms. And some of I would say we had well over 100 petitions come through our Fayette County Zoning Hearing Board for solar farms
Yeah.
without an ordinance.
Yeah.
And it was tough. It was tough. We had hundreds of people showing up, objecting to it. And most of
What are their objections?
So most of the objections had to do with glare and being an eyesore and the locations. A lot of people were very offended that farmers were selling off their property to these farms, these solar farms, and not using it for agricultural uses.
I see.
And I mean, I don't think you can fault a farmer.
No,
Farming
they're trying to
is
survive too.
tough.
Yeah, it's really tough.
And a lot of farmers did come in and say, if I'm not able to do this, I'm not going to survive.
Yep.
I need to be able to do this.
Yep.
But I think some of them, maybe they were a little bit larger than they had to be. Some of these, solar farm panel requests that they were putting through, and some were located in not very good locations.
Yeah, the glare when you're driving, I will say I've noticed that
Yeah.
certain places it is distracting. It's probably not good. But I think that if this setback is far enough and the distance between that and any other residence is far enough, it seems like one of those things that would be like, hey, it's my property.
Yeah.
And I think, is that kind of how the court has taken it too?
So after, these petitions start coming in, the commissioners then did pass a solar panel ordinance.
Okay.
And I guess I should tell you that first the planning commission prepares the ordinance and presents it to
Okay.
the commissioners, and the commissioners then review it and pass it,
Yeah.
and they adopt it. So once it was passed, they did. I mean, one of the things they looked at is the setback. That was the big thing, the big protection. It's a 500-foot setback from property lines.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
That's a big one.
That's
Yeah.
on every side.
Which I actually like it though.
Yeah, but it's
Because
very.
you're trying to be fair.
Well, it's very hard to find a property that you can have that big of a setback on all sides
and still have
and
the insulation you need.
still make it a viable, income generating solar
Yeah, no,
farm.
I got you.
So it's the petitions have definitely reduced since that came through.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to find a location.
It limits
that you
it. You
can-
got to have property. You got to
Yeah.
have a significant chunk of property to
Yeah.
be able to pull it off. So,
Yes.
so here's my, this is my question for you because I think it every single time I see a parking lot. You see a large parking lot.
Yeah.
Why can't solar farms be built over top of parking lots to also protect your car from the weather and bring solar energy?
Okay, that's a great idea.
Let's
You
patent
might
that.
have something here.
Let's patent that. You
Okay,
see a giant
I'm gonna write
sprawling
this
parking
down.
lot, a
Yeah.
giant sprawling parking
Yeah.
lot. You put them raised up. You pull your car right underneath. The entire
so
roof is
you're
the solar
like,
panel.
Put a roof over the parking lot.
Correct. And then the solar panels on
panels
top
are-
of that.
Excellent
Over the
idea.
entire thing, you're drawing revenue from the roof over the cars that are now protected and covered.
Listen, I was baffled at how many solar panel farms want to come to this area because I thought, do we really get that much sun here?
Yeah.
I was thinking, maybe down south or
Yeah.
maybe like further west, but no, they insist that we have some good sun
And we
here
have, and you're right, we do have some solar farms too
We
that
do,
have
yeah.
established themselves.
Yes, yes.
And there's still ones that are being sought. Is that
Yes,
correct?
Yeah, we still have, I think I know we have several petitions still before the Court of Common Pleas on Appeal. And I think we've had a couple petitions come through that haven't been heard yet, but
Okay.
are coming up. So.
Yeah. It's really interesting that you brought this up because I just listened to a podcast because you and I are huge dorks that listen
yeah.
to, we're nerds. But this wasn't true crime.
I was gonna say,
This was a
true crime.
bookish podcast, and
Okay.
it was by the author Claire Bay Watkins. They interviewed her. She writes, she lives out in the Mojave Desert, and she just wrote a fiction novel, but it's all about a solar farm that comes into the desert of the Mojave Desert because it's based on something that's really happening out there.
Okay.
And it's so big and so sprawling that it's completely changed the ecosystem for
Yeah.
like everything and everyone.
Yeah.
So it eats up
Yes.
resources.
Yeah.
It changes the wildlife,
Yes,
all that
that's
kind
a
of stuff.
big-
So I'm guessing that those things also apply here, probably, but on a smaller scale. I would imagine it does.
It does, 100%.
Yeah.
Now, I think a lot of our petitioners here have tried to, facilitate and be a good neighbor
Yeah.
to our local area, the farmers, the deer.
They're trying to be thoughtful.
Yeah. So they talk about, the trees they're going to plant that will surround it so that you don't see it as bad.
Yeah.
They have there's one company that hires another company that brings goats in, and instead of like mowing the grass through the panels,
Wow.
they let goats like live within
kinda
the
cool.
panels. Yeah,
Kind of cool.
very clean.
We're all living together here,
Yes.
goats and humans.
Yes, yeah.
I like it.
There's some protections for our wildlife because we've had a lot of people complain or worry about, what's going to happen with our deer population or our rabbits and that sort
Yeah.
of thing. And so they put up proper fencing to protect those animals so they're not getting stuck in there. So I think I
trying.
encourage, if you are someone who got a notice in the mail
Yeah.
that someone wants to build a solar farm in your area, come to the meeting. Listen to the petitioner. Look at what they're doing, because I think a lot of your worries can be put at rest or at least eased a little bit by hearing it firsthand from the petitioners what their plan is and asking questions.
Because
Yeah.
we're gonna, and I don't know that we're gonna get to it today.
Yeah.
I might recommend holding it. Data centers are
That's
huge,
coming,
and we've saved
yeah.
it. But it's a little different in my opinion than that, because this is not necessarily an outside group that's seeking to like take over and take and kind of wring out the natural resources of an area. These are farmers, people that live here, people that have acreage, trying to find a way to make things better for themselves, hopefully help a little bit, make some
Yeah.
money, all that kind of stuff. I
Yeah.
think it's more that
It
with the
is.
solar.
It is. I think it is too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know they're out to make a buck, but
Well, yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day,
That's part of our
how
world.
We live. That's how
Yeah.
we survive.
Yeah.
So, but I do think that most of them want to be good neighbors.
Yeah.
They genuinely do. And most of them have been in this for a long time. This isn't their first farm that
Yeah.
and by no means am I advocating for these solar farms.
No, you're just
petitioners,
there's-
but
it's across the board.
I think there is a place for them.
Yeah.
And I think that it's not a bad thing to allow them to grow within our
Yeah.
county in the proper areas,
Right.
with the proper conditions.
Right.
But yeah, if you do get the notice in the mail,
Yeah.
and you're a concerned
Come
neighbor.
learn.
By the way, you as a concerned neighbor, you're also allowed to have an attorney at the hearing. So hire an attorney. Call an attorney and talk to an attorney about what your rights are as a neighbor.
There you go.
Because it comes down to, should this be granted or not granted? The zoning hearing board has to look at every petition as to, does this affect the health, safety, welfare of our community?
Yeah. So as far as the glare, I just want to see if you know this or not. There's a farm, and maybe I'm completely just don't know. There's a farm that I pass when we do drive to the Outer Banks in North Carolina. It's the biggest solar farm that I drive past, but they are clearly on some sort of computerized schedule.
Yeah.
And I watch them shift the
Yes.
angle
Yes.
so the glare is never at the road. As the sun moves, they rotate around,
Yep.
and they're never. So they strategically build it, and they also have the ability to shift them. Is that normal?
When we started these hearings,
Yeah.
I was dumbfounded at
By
the
the tech-
technology.
yeah.
I could not believe it. They do. They are automated to follow the sun.
Okay.
And they will. And they are automated to minimize the glare. In fact, a lot of the panels now are being constructed with a particular, I can
Like a
tell you
glare
what
resistant.
it's a glare resistant, believe it or not. And I can't believe it, but it's true.
That's awesome.
They
Technology's pretty cool.
Yes, they have shown us videos of full glare, like full brightness
Sun.
onto the panels, and there is no glare.
It's dull.
I've heard glare studies. Do you know there's actually scientists that study glare?
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, there's real science. That's
That's
their job.
fantastic.
They go out and study glare. And we've heard testimony from multiple glare scientists that swear that these panels, if they are constructed according to what this proposal is,
Yeah.
there will be no glare.
That's wild.
Yeah. Or
So-
minimal glare. I mean, there's some, but I'm not gonna say no. But
So my dad was an over-the-road truck driver, and he had a spray that was the truck drivers all used to
Yeah.
shut down the glare.
Uh-huh.
So it's probably something that's been developed way
Yes.
past that, but
Yeah.
they would all use this spray because glare was a big deal for them too.
Yes.
If you're driving 10 or 12 hours a day, you can't have glare.
well, and I can totally see that. You don't want to go out for your morning coffee on your back porch in your beautiful,
And there it is. All you see is
75-acre farm and look over the hill.
and it looks like these lights
and
in the
you
studio.
see,
Yeah.
you got these lights glaring at you. That's the last thing you want to happen.
Right.
So I think that by coming and learning it, what their intentions are, what the plan is, and
Yeah.
what the scientists say, it's interesting.
It really is
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
So I think we should stop the segments there
All
for
right,
today.
we'll give them a little teaser.
Yeah, we'll
about
give them a little
data
teaser.
centers.
Yeah, so
They're coming.
They're coming.
They're coming.
They're coming whether you want them or not.
Yeah.
We got to learn how to move forward.
Yep.
I had a really interesting conversation with somebody in politics locally
Mm-hmm.
who basically he and I had the same kind of thoughts that we have to know more before we freak out one way or the other.
100%. Be
So-
in the know.
Yeah, so I think that that's a really important thing. It's easy to just get up in arms about it.
It is, yeah.
But at the same time, if it's going to be something that we have to deal with and could be beneficial, we need to learn all the ins and outs and then make the right decisions.
Yep. 100%.
So,
But I will
Yeah.
give everybody a heads up. Fayette County does not have a zoning ordinance for data centers. So
okay.
things
Things are going to get interesting, folks.
They are working on it. The Planning Commission is in the process of working on them. So hopefully we have it soon.
It's
but
exciting. It's exciting
exciting.
times.
Yep.
You can keep your eyes on it. It's very interesting. Other countries have already gone through this. Ireland is way
Yeah.
ahead of us. They were a server farm before we even knew what server farms were.
Yeah.
These things happen. Ireland is still beautiful. It still exists.
Well, even other areas in Pennsylvania,
Sure.
it's happening. We're
We're a little
We're
behind.
a little behind, yeah.
But
it's coming.
It's something that we need to learn about and know how we're going to deal with it because we all are consumers on these things.
Yeah.
And when we're all consumers on all this stuff,
And everybody complains when they don't have service or,
I mean,
everybody
it's a fine
complains.
balance. You got to figure out what you really want. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right, couple of things. We got like a little less than 2 minutes left. What are our couple of things
so
today?
with the end of every show, we like to talk about
Yeah.
couple things. So, of course, let's talk about the Steelers.
I know it's exciting.
How excited are you?
I can't wait because the Pirates. I love the baseball. You and I've talked about
we
it.
had a great season.
We did. It was good. It was really good for a while, and then it was just kind of the
real
typical
highs,
letdown.
real lows,
I know.
but
So Steelers season's here.
I'm excited.
I'm always excited. I love all Pittsburgh sports. So.
I do too.
Yeah.
We're a sports family. We watch
Yep.
them all. So
Yep.
7 p.m. tonight, right?
Absolutely.
Wait, did the Pirates win? I think they were.
They were
winning.
winning 5-0. We'll
hopefully
get
they will, yeah.
TJ to give us an
Okay,
update
he'll give us an
before he
update.
goes here at the top of the hour.
Okay, last thing.
Yeah.
School. Back to school. Before we meet next time, everybody will be back to school.
Yeah.
Just a couple quick reminders because there are some legal things around school. Don't forget, if you're sending your kids off to college, they are adults now. You need to have a power of attorney for them, or you can't call their bank for them. You can't call the school for them. You can't call the hospital for them. You need to have that power of attorney. Call us and get a power of attorney before you ship them off to college.
Right. That's
Because-
we're not talking middle school or
No,
element. We're
yeah.
talking once there, but you got to do it because she knows.
Yes, it's 100%. Give us a call. Second, don't forget, attendance is required in the state of Pennsylvania for your kids in school.
Truancy's real.
Truancy is real. Get them to school.
Yeah.
Make sure they go to school. And I know that I had teenage boys. I know it's tough.
They don't want to go all the time.
Get them to school because that is you legally required to get them to school.
That's right.
And then last, if you have a child with special needs,
Yep.
make sure their IEP is current, their 504 plan is current. Make sure their accommodations are being met. If not, let's get an appointment. Let's go in. Let's meet with your school. Let's make sure your kid has everything they need to succeed. Those things are there in place for a reason.
Perfect.
Bye.
Fox News to what could be a game changer in the federal and state cases against Luigi Mangione, charged in the killing of healthcare executive Brian Thompson. The New York Times and New York Post reporting he's now expected to plead guilty in the federal stalking case against him, which carries a penalty of life in prison, but that could also cancel the upcoming New York state trial on murder charges.
While the U.S. Constitution allows separate state and federal prosecutions, New York law could bar the state from prosecuting Mangione if he's already federally convicted for the same criminal act. The state tried to avoid this by making sure its trial started before the federal trial.
Fox's Brian Yennis. There's a hearing set for tomorrow morning in federal court. A senior Justice Department official tells Fox Mangione is allowed to plead guilty if he chooses, but there is no plea deal with the DOJ. The new Democratic Senate candidate in Maine, Troy Jackson, is responding to a decades-old police report about a fight when he was 19.
Back in 1988, this police report that was uncovered says he kicked open a door, punched a man in the face, he threatened him, and also that same night, his longtime partner